Those Disney bathroom selfies got y'all real upset, huh?
I'm sure all of you have heard of the very controversial trans content creator Lily Tino. There have been loads of incredibly popular videos on this subject, which I highly recommend that you go and watch after watching this video, but if you are unfamiliar, let's go over some of their highlight reel. Lily Tino's misgendering series, where they go into a restaurant, go into a place, actively film somebody misgendering them, and then uploading and complaining about it.
It looks like he's having a nice feast.
She, her.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all good.
But it was not all good.
Lots of people called out Lily Tino for how they went about these videos, and specifically for filming these individuals just making a simple mistake and then uploading them, and then over-exaggerating certain circumstances or certain situations, or how they would act incredibly rude to the people that did accidentally misgender them. Another very infamous Lily Tino controversy was them claiming that Kurt Cobain was actually trans.
I bet you didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans. Here's why. First off, Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing.
Yes, you know, if you wear women's clothes in any capacity, if you ever done that, you must be trans.
In their childhood, Kurt said that they mostly hung out around girls, and that at one point, they thought they might be gay. Many trans people who don't have the vocabulary yet to express their gender identity will describe what they're feeling as being gay.
Or he might have genuinely just thought that he was gay and he was just friends with lots of girls. When I was younger, the majority of my friend group was all women, but that didn't make me trans. Also, I think it's worth noting when it comes to Lily Tino, a lot of the hate that they actually receive isn't because they are trans, it's because of the things they've said as an individual and how they are as a person, being, you know, a pretty bad one at that, not that they are a trans individual. Of course, they receive a lot of hate for that just in general on the internet. That is something that is flooding the comments, and especially with the current controversy that we will get into, that is something that's happening a lot, but the main root of cause for the hate against Lily Tino isn't that they're just trans. Now, of course, everybody should know that the current controversy around Lily Tino is something that they did in Disney, but before we get to that, I do want to mention another controversy that they had at Disney last year, and that's when they were talking about this around a bunch of people at Disney in the open.
I'm gonna get banned from Disney.
Keep in mind, as soon as they've said that, they know what they're about to say is incredibly inappropriate to say at Disney around a bunch of people. You wouldn't say that, oh yeah, Disney are gonna ban me, if you genuinely thought that what you were saying wasn't problematic to say just in the open around a bunch of people, presumably kids as well, as you're at Disney.
I swear, we're about to get banned from Disney. Last summer, I got my cake pops removed, and the plan up until recently was to get my marshmallow wand reconfigured into a marshmallow tunnel. Unfortunately, a few weeks ago, I noticed some hair regrowth on my marshmallow wand. That's bad, because the outside of the wand is what becomes the inside of the tunnel.
Literally heard a kid in the background as they are talking about their genitals. It is a disgusting thing to be talking about around children. Talking about your genitals like this around a bunch of kids and just people in general in public is not the way to talk about a situation like this. If they would want to talk about this, I don't have an issue with that. Just do not do it around a bunch of people in a public space, especially children. Talking about your genitals in front of children is just plain weird. It gets 10 times worse because you've gone to Disney, you've done it in front of people at Disney, including kids, and you've said yourself that, yeah, I hope I don't get banned for this. You know that this is wrong and this is something that you shouldn't be doing. This isn't the only time they've done this. It very much seems like they've gone and recreated the exact same video again, talking about a very similar thing.
Disney's gonna ban me for this one.
Lily Tino is doing this yet again at Disney around people and presumably kids because, again, they are at Disney. They saw the amount of views, the amount of backlash that they got last time, the amount of tension, and have decided to do it again. Again, they know it's wrong even more this time because not only did they get backlash previously, but as well, again, they've said about being banned from Disney. You know it's actively wrong. It's incredibly important to mention this is part of the bigger issue with her current controversy that Lily Tino is facing.
My corn dog is still intact. I'm not happy about that, but sadly it takes a long time to turn a corn dog into a inverted corn dog. I do hair removal every week for 2 hours straight. It is not fun or easy, but once that is finally done, hopefully by the end of the year, they are going to take my corn dog. These ears do not want to stay on.
They are doing this purely at Disney because they know this will get views and attention. They are actively feeding into it regardless if they know that this is a disgusting thing that you shouldn't be saying around children. talking about your genitals in an open area at Disney nonetheless is gross. It's something that nobody should be doing. Especially when you've previously done it, you've already done this exact thing where you say, oh yeah, I might get banned, you've already been called out for it, you've already kind of responded to that criticism, and now you're doing it again. Lots of people on the internet have said that Lily Tino has set trans people back by 1,000 years, 100 years, and has done permanent damage to the trans community on the internet and how people perceive trans people. And yeah, I can understand where that is coming from, because why are they talking about this type of stuff in public? People get the wrong idea and then use this to fuel their own transphobia.
They're going to cut it down the middle. This is not the best knife for this. They will then take off the outer lining of the corn dog. Okay, I'm actually impressed that I'm doing this good of a job. Like so. Flip it inside out.
I think this one is more gross, as they are actively demonstrating this while talking about it in Disney in front of a bunch of people. It's gross, it's disgusting, this is something that they shouldn't be doing, and the fact that they're doing this yet again is just absolutely disgusting. I'm going to keep repeating these points because this is just so bizarre, so incredibly bizarre and weird. And as well, you've got to think about it from a parent's perspective. Imagine you taking your kid to Disneyland or Disney World, right? You've saved up money to go there because you know how magical that experience is for your kid, or when you were a kid, you experienced that magical experience and want your kid to experience that too, and you'd look over to see Lily Tino there talking about their genitals. Of course you are going to be disgusted because you don't want your kid to hear something like that. But surprisingly, this isn't actually the main controversy around Lily Tino this time. Of course, this video has blown up and this is a contributing factor, but the main controversy is Lily Tino taking photos in the women's bathroom.
I've made it into Disney World. I don't really know what the deal is with bathrooms. You know, Florida is really conservative. I don't know what the rules are. Trans women are allowed to be in women's bathrooms, but I'm about to go and use the bathroom because I have to tinkle. If I get stopped, I get stopped, I guess, but I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom, and being in Florida or being in California or wherever isn't going to stop me.
Now look, these photos are a mixed bag. Some of these photos Lily Tino has taken are just her taking a photo in the mirror with nobody else behind her. Something that everybody has done, I think, taking a quick mirror selfie. It's not something that I've personally done, but I'm telling you, you probably know people that have done this, celebrities that have done this, taking a quick mirror selfie when there's nobody in the toilets with you. But the controversy comes from the fact that they are taking photos as well where there are people in the background of their photos in the mirror. One, right, I've got to say, how do you not feel embarrassed by taking mirror selfies when there are people actively there? Surely you would feel kind of weird just taking them just in general. I thought that would give me a really weird vibe. I think it gives me just a weird vibe taking photos in the toilets, in the mirrors, just in general. It's not something that I would personally ever do. I can understand why some people do it when there are nobody there, but surely you feel kind of a bit weird, awkward, embarrassed, and ashamed when you're just standing there in the mirror taking photos. And as well, surely that they understand, right, that this does violate their privacy. These people have gone in there to use the facilities. It's an incredibly private area, and they are taking photos whilst they're there. It wouldn't have been hard to just wait for these people to leave to then take the photo. And as well, on top of that, it's not just like they've taken a mirror selfie where there are a couple of people behind them and that's just it. They've done that and then uploaded it to TikTok. They've uploaded it to their platform with thousands and millions of people to see. That adds another level of just weirdness to do, because they probably had no idea that that's something that was going to happen, that this person is taking a photo of them where they are behind them and then uploading it to their social media platform. That is just weird and gross. And not only is it weird and gross, but I'm hearing as well, of course, that this is against Disney policy to do so, and as well, in the state of Florida, this is something that is actually illegal. At least this is what I'm hearing from people that live in Florida, that they're saying that this type of behavior is in fact illegal, and when I search it up, that's what comes up, that this is an illegal behavior. So yeah, I do want to preface that because of course, I'm not American, I'm clearly not from Florida, I'm clearly from UK, so yeah, I just do want to preface that, so maybe take that just with a pinch of salt, but that is what I'm seeing and hearing. I mean, regardless of the law, right, even if it was legal, this is something that you should know is wrong, that you shouldn't be doing. You don't have their consent to post these pictures. They probably don't even know that you're going to be uploading these to social media. It is disgusting, it's gross, you've violated their privacy regardless of the law. You shouldn't be doing this anyway. Lily Tino actually responded to the controversy on a live stream, and this is what they had to say.
If truly that happened, right, if truly they wanted to say it was against the rules for you to take bathroom selfies, that will ultimately be a good thing. You sent not like that I'm happy to be in trouble that way, but This is what it is being an advocate.
If you think it'd be a good thing for them to come out and say it, then you know what you've done is wrong. And you can't spin this to say that, you know, I'm an advocate, I've done this to show you how bad or how wrong this is, or that, yeah, I'm standing up for people. You've done something that's wrong, you've been called out, you've realized that you've made a huge mistake, and now you're backpedaling.
Okay, this is like, my goal in taking those pictures was to normalize trans women using the women's room, right? That kind of thing doesn't happen without friction.
Being an advocate doesn't mean you have to violate somebody's privacy as they're using the restroom. Taking those photos in the bathroom with people behind you isn't you being an advocate. That's just you doing that, then realizing that you've made a mistake, and now you're clinging on to this thing that you did this to be an advocate. You could have been an advocate by just taking mirror selfies in the first place. It's the fact there are people behind them and then you've uploaded them to TikTok.
Okay, thank you, Jordan, for subbing. It doesn't happen without friction, okay? If Florida, as a state, wants to make a stink about it, they certainly are welcome to. But ultimately, they'll have to know that if they do that, that will do nothing but draw more attention to the issue.
But Lily, the issue of taking photos of yourself in a mirror where there are people actively behind you that have no idea, that haven't consented, and then uploading them on the internet, yeah, that probably would draw more attention to something like that, which would be a good thing. But as well, what they're trying to get at here, right, is it would draw more attention to trans people using the women's bathroom. You didn't do all of this to be an advocate. That is now just an excuse that you are using to try and shield yourself from the criticism that you are currently receiving.
Right, which ultimately they might want to do, but these aren't the kind of things that people like truly go to prison for. These are the kinds of things that you see news articles about, right? Like trans woman, you know, in trouble with Florida after blah, blah, blah. And like, it would be a public debacle. And that's good.
It's crazy to me how they could just sit there and use the advocacy card for something that they are rightfully getting critiqued for. It is just genuinely insane, and I'm so glad that nobody is buying their bullshit, including other trans content creators and other people of the LGBTQ community are calling this out. Because this is simply not advocacy, this is just disgusting and wrong.
Those Disney bathroom selfies got y'all real upset, huh? Saying, oh, Lily, you can't take selfies in the bathroom, it's not appropriate. Well, let me remind you that literally every celebrity you've ever enjoyed on screen has at one point taken a bathroom selfie. For example,
all of the people that you are currently flashing up on the screen, all of these celebrities, all of these people that are taking mirror selfies, not one person has another individual behind them whilst they're taking the photo, because that would be weird to post. The vast majority of people aren't raising an issue that you walked into a bathroom and took a photo of you alone in the mirror. If you're alone, it's a different story to then taking a photo where there are people actively behind you, especially at a place like Disney.
and it's not just celebrities. Any woman you ever meet has likely taken a photo in a public bathroom. Why, you ask? Because we look cute and we want to document it. So what is different about me that I'm not allowed to take bathroom selfies? The easy answer here is, oh, Lily, you're a trans woman, so you get held to a different standard. And that is true. But people judge trans women differently depending on how well they pass.
I won't lie, of course there is a lot of people using this as an argument to go against trans people. But there is just also an incredible amount of people, including fellow trans people and fellow LGBTQ people, who are calling this behavior out, Lily. This isn't just because you're trans and people don't think you pass enough. As well with this, it's very much obvious that they were intending to cause some type of controversy with this, that they knew this would get attention, that this would get a lot of pushback, and that's exactly why they've done this. I'm also going to point out, right, who is going into each individual bathroom and rating the bathroom and then posting it to TikTok as well, right? Like, I know that isn't the biggest issue here, but that's just something that's really caught me off guard. Everybody watching, what do you think about this situation? To be fair, I already know what the vast majority of you think. I mean, I'm not going to go in the comments, people are going to be praising Lily Tino for this. It's going to be people saying that this is disgusting, that this is wrong, that this is just absolutely vile. Nobody's going to be praising her or supporting her here. I really can't see that. And whilst you're down there, ladies and gentlemen, smack that subscribe button, smack that notification bell so you don't miss a future upload from the Slop Mule channel. I do appreciate you watching this Slopic, and I will catch you in the next one. I've been your host, Samuel. Thank you. Goodbye.